This year, potential Super Bowl three-peaters, the Kansas City Chiefs and Hallmark decide to combine two of my favorite things, football and cheesy holiday movies, to make a cheesy holiday movie about football. This isn't the first holiday movie made about football, but this is the first holiday football movie featuring a real team, and a movie that might have been inspired by real events. Speaking of the movie, let's get straight into it.
There was always a little extra magic at those games around Christmas time, especially the year best friends became family.
Oof, okay, that's not a good face replacement right there. They're making it very clear right from the beginning that VFX aren't like the main thing they're focusing on here. Especially in the parts where they're intersplicing old footage with footage that they're trying to make look old. There's quite a bit of contrast there. But so far, sweet story about two families getting together to celebrate a football team.
This isn't good.
Hang on.
Hallmark might not have dropped any money on this movie with the amount of Casey memorabilia that they're showing off right at the beginning. Look at all the options here. You can get yourself a hat, a scarf, a teddy bear. Probably buy it right now at kcshop.com. Not a sponsor. Not a sponsor. It probably exists. That's probably where they want you to go.
A new fella! What wonderful news! We were getting a little worried.
Classic. The daughter is single and the family's trying to matchmake so she's not alone for the holidays. And honestly, this family dynamic already, it's kind of hitting. If this movie was about something else but Diedrich Bader was in it, I would be watching this movie regardless. He is such an underrated actor. You might recognize him from The Drew Carey Show, or you might recognize him as the voice of Kano from the Pup Star series, and like 1,000 things in between. He is in some of your favorite things for sure.
Listen, how do you expect to engage with Kansas City fans when you have no idea what fuels them?
She made an incredibly good point here. Since he's not actually from Kansas City and is a director of fan engagement, he should probably do some kind of engaging with the fans. Or the city itself. But also, why would the team hire someone from out of town to be fan engagement? You would think you would just hire a marketing director who just absolutely loves the Chiefs to be the fan engagement person. Sure, there's some specialized skills here, but you're telling me no one in Kansas City has those skills? Or if you are going to hire an expat, why not someone who left Kansas City and came back? This guy has nothing to do with Kansas City. He just shows up and works. Work that I don't think he's doing a good job at because he's not engaging with the fans. What does he do all day? Make posters?
Hey, welcome to Norma and Nick's. What can I get you?
So we get the first of many cameos here in the movie, which is Donna Kelsey, mother of Travis and Jason Kelsey, doing some of the most rigid acting I've ever seen.
I'll take a Norma and Nick's super platter for this newbie.
Which is kind of expected for a cameo, but ooh boy is she stiff. But who just happens to be at this diner? Kansas City's #1 fan family. And they got eyes for fan director here. In most Hallmark movies, this trope makes sense because it's in like a small town of 3,000 people, so there's a good chance that you'll run into someone at the diner or the local restaurant. But they're in Kansas City, a city with a population of like 500,000, so the odds of this kind of happenstance happening doesn't seem as likely. And they're also treating it like he's the new guy in town. Once again, 500,000 people, major sports team, people are coming and going all the time. You can't just see a new person and be like, I think they'll want to hook up with my daughter. Or granddaughter. Because the whole family's here. To them, he should just be another traveler. And they should just, be chill and eat the ribs.
It's like living in Paris and never having a baguette.
Every time Donna Kelsey passes by the table, it is just the most awkward moment ever. And it's dialogue that I'm pretty sure was filmed separate to the flow of the conversation, because of the way the camera cuts when she walks on by. But I really hope she makes at least, 7 more appearances throughout this movie. Basically, 1 appearance from Donna Kelsey every 10 minutes or so is what this movie needs.
Where's everybody going?
Okay, you're being kind of mean about this lady's fruitcake. You can just accept it and then not eat it. She's not gonna know. Running away when someone hands you a fruitcake, not the most polite thing you can do.
Abandoned by my own family.
And he's treating it like it's the worst thing that's happened to him all day. Which, honestly, they all seem like they're living very pleasant lives, so it might be the worst thing that's happened to him, but it's still a nice gesture. Why does everyone hate fruitcake so much? Fruitcake can be tasty. Fruitcake has become the Nickelback of desserts. You probably like it. You just don't want to admit you like it, because it's cool not to. You're so edgy not liking fruitcake. Hey everyone, look at this person. They don't like fruitcake. Give them a round of applause. They hate a specific dessert. You know what I want to know? You want to know? Why do you hate fruitcake so much? That's a leave it in the comments question. Why do y'all hate fruitcake so much? If you warm it up and throw some ice cream over some bad fruitcake, it's probably going to be good. Just a la mode it. Any dessert is made better a la mode. And it's fruit cake. You can put a fruit ice cream on top. Strawberry ice cream on a slice of warm fruit cake. It's going to be pretty good. It's going to be pretty good. And also, these two are hanging out a lot for just meeting today, which makes sense, because, man, this family is lovely. I would want to spend the day with them, too.
I don't mean to, offend. I'm not particularly superstitious.
Dick move, guy. Dick move. You are the director of fan engagement, and you don't understand that your fans have superstitions that they take very seriously? Come on. You are wholly unqualified for this job. He said his family owned hotels around the world. I bet they just had some connections with the team, and that's how he got this job. This job should have gone to someone who has their own superstitions. Someone who's like, yes, I eat exactly 7 ribs before halftime, and then 7 ribs after halftime. And when that happens, some of the times, the team wins. It's all thanks to me and eating 14 ribs across 2 halves. Not, haha, stupid hat, jerk.
We only get to the Super Bowl if someone in our family wears the hat on Christmas.
So the story behind the magic hat is that it's been in the family since the 60s because Granddad gave a Santa who was on the corner of a street like $20. In return, he got a magic hat that grants his wishes. And his wish was that the Kansas City Chiefs would win a game. And they did. So he kept wearing the hat. And then they won again. All the way to the playoffs. But unfortunately, some schmuck at the shop sold the hat. And for the longest time, they weren't a good team. They were very forgettable, which the movie explains away by saying the hat was found back in 2020 when Kansas City started winning a whole bunch of Super Bowls. And that's what we call in the biz good writing, because it does match up with how things went. They even explain what happened in 2021 by saying someone in the family had a medical emergency so they weren't able to wear it on Christmas Day, which honestly, chef's kiss, amazing. They're covering up all their plot holes here. This is a level of commitment to their own lore that you don't even see in like Oscar-winning movies. Well done, Hallmark.
I wonder if maybe we're being too tough on the guy for not telling us who he works for. I mean, I'm sure the second somebody finds out, they want something from it.
This is such a supportive family. Diedrich Bader very rightfully says, yeah, of course he didn't tell us. What if we just asked him for tickets? We're obviously fans. He probably gets it all the time. Something he heard in the director's office, that people might ask you for tickets. A very logical and grown-up way to handle the situation. The way she reacted, honestly, not even that over the top. She clearly likes this person, but also only knew them for a day. Of course he's not going to tell you everything. We're not even halfway through the movie. This might be one of the best written movies ever. Everyone so far is likable. Things are being resolved in a normal manner.
It would make the Eagles game on Christmas basically a playoff game.
They say that the Christmas Day game is going to be against the Eagles. And this year, they're not playing the Eagles. And last year, they didn't play the Eagles. And I do get why they would pick the Eagles for this matchup, because Travis Kelce plays for the Kansas City Chiefs, and Jason Kelce used to play for the Eagles. So he doesn't even play there anymore. Making this fairly loose connection even looser. Everything nice I said about them sticking to their own lore, throwing it in the trash. That was all lies. Clearly, writer of this movie, you don't care that much about historical accuracy. People are going to watch this in the future and they're going to be like, did the Chiefs really face the Eagles that year? And then they're going to look at the stats and be like, what? No, they didn't. This is fibbery. What else in this movie was a lie? And they're not going to believe in anything, including Christmas magic. Because that's how it starts. You start with the little lies, and it just builds up. They don't believe in Christmas magic. They don't believe in true love. They don't believe in true love's kiss. It just all falls apart. You can pull these shenanigans with Thanksgiving, but Christmas? Christmas? Come on.
Is there a game on Christmas this year, Daddy?
That child has equal acting ability to Donna Kelce. If you're a fan of the team, you probably know if they're playing on Christmas. And if you wanted to go, most likely would have asked for tickets in advance. Not after eavesdropping on this conversation. Follow up to that, don't eavesdrop on people's conversations. Even though this is kind of minor, but that's how it begins. Eavesdrop on a little conversation, then you eavesdrop on a conversation about Christmas magic, and then you stop believing in that. But the main guy is just so unbelievably generous, and just so happens to have tickets for the Christmas game. So this little girl who is eavesdropping, which is not something you should do, gets tickets to the game.
Did you just give them your tickets?
More than likely making this the best Christmas ever for this family. You have changed their lives, sir. For the better. He does describe it as fan engagement. I don't think that's fan engagement. I think that's fan bribery. Engagement's like talking to them about the team. Like, hey, how do you enjoy the experience of the Kansas City Chiefs? I don't know what it is that they would possibly change. Most people probably say something like, yeah, the food's pretty expensive at the stadiums. To which if you reply, yeah, sure is. That's it. They're not going to lower the prices. Or maybe the tickets are too expensive. Yep. They're going to be more expensive next year. Merry Christmas.
Good evening, ladies.
Derek!
This is not the kitchen of an award-winning barbecue restaurant. Probably nitpicking, but if you're running a barbecue restaurant, those ovens should be full of meat right now being smoked. They should also be smokers. And I can't confirm or deny if they are or not, like they could just be pull-out smokers, but they look like broilers, like something you would cook a pizza in. On top of that, not very big kitchen. And you can see in the background that they have some tickets they should be working on. She is working on something there, but I can basically guarantee you that it's not barbecue, because she's standing in front of a cold table. And to serve barbecue, you need like a hot box keeping the meat warm, but not too hot because it will dry it out. So I don't know what the people are eating at one of the best barbecue restaurants in town, but it's more than likely not barbecue. And for the middle of service, you're not just gonna casually make some cookies. Okay, perhaps I was being a little too harsh here because they clearly shut it down to do a gingerbread competition. Which, okay, makes sense. This is one of the Fan of the Year contenders who have decided to put up a whole bunch of Christmas lights to show their fandom for the Chiefs. And looking at this, I gotta say, not a very high bar in this competition. Right now the three people competing are Magic Hat, Christmas Lights, and Cat. Quite the running they got going on here. Like, the Christmas lights are good. If you drive by in a neighborhood, you're like, that's nicely done. But are they Fan of the Year level? I suppose this is like a community level event, so having a house that's like amazingly lit up might make people feel like, well, why would I even enter? Look at what won last year. They spent $30,000 lighting up a house. I can never be that good of a fan, and that makes people feel bad. So you know what? I'm on board with this now. It's a person who cares about the team, they're lighting up the house in a way that looks good, and they deserve to win just as much as the hat does.
I had no idea any of this was here, or that you were here.
It's quite a coincidence.
It is quite the coincidence. Once again, they're in Kansas City, Missouri. A major city in America. Not like New York that has millions of people, but like Kansas City and has hundreds of thousands of people. The odds of them running into this much, it has to be so small. And is Kansas City known for its hospitality? Because I don't think I would just go up to someone sitting on your lawn and be like, hey, I see you got a fire there. Mind if I just, real quick? But also, that's just kind of my personality. I wouldn't ask anybody for anything. I'd rather freeze on the street than ask a person to sit next to their fire. Then you gotta talk to them. This is awkward. But once again, amazing family who's just hanging out here, getting drunk on the lawn.
Merry Christmas.
I don't know if current Kansas City Chiefs receiver McCole Hardman should be allowed to be Fan of the Year contender. I do, however, love the way that he's just flaunting his Super Bowl rings. That's awesome. You've earned them. You should absolutely be doing that in front of a cat that sort of looks like Patrick Mahomes. You're also on the team with Patrick Mahomes. I hope you showed him this cat. I don't really know what kind of person Patrick Mahomes is, but if you showed him a cat and went like, hey, that kind of looks like you, I don't think he would throw you any more passes. And I know I'm supposed to be cheering for the Magic Hat during this movie. I'm cheering for Patrick Mahomes. The name, amazing. The way the cat looks, amazing. Even though I think McCole Hardman should be disqualified for being on the team.
Don't lose that hat. I still have a few more fingers I want to fill up.
Another player showing up and just flaunting their Super Bowl rings. It's like, we got to keep winning. We got to keep winning. We haven't won enough. Just awesomely cocky behavior from the team. As they should be. Because they have won a lot. As someone who's a fan of a team that never wins, I get that it sucks when the same team wins again and again. And I don't want them to win. I want the Detroit Lions to win last year. And I want the Detroit Lions to win again this year. But will the Chiefs pull out some magic and three-peat? Most likely. I've just accepted that the Chiefs are going to win again this year. And then maybe fade away for a little while. I don't know how Patrick Mahomes does it. He managed to keep winning games. They're very close games. You wouldn't think they'd win them. But somehow by accident and, I don't know, Christmas magic, maybe the hat is real. The way they win some of these games, I'm starting to believe in the hat. The win against the Raiders, that's hat magic. The sun set quicker than I thought it would, so it's a lighting change. It's a little brighter here now. That zoom out looks much worse than I'm sure that they thought it would look. This is in partnership with the Kansas City Chiefs, who most likely have footage of the stadium from that angle, but it looks like the whole thing was composited in Blender. It just looks a little bit off, but it also might be real and looks a little bit off just because of how many seats there are, and once you get that far back, it just doesn't look like anything anymore. Because after the zoom out, they do cut to them just walking around the stadium, and I'm pretty sure that's the real stadium. Like, why wouldn't it be? They probably filmed this in the off season. Ooh, they smooching in the empty stadium. We finally got that kiss, which means he's probably gonna have to go back to Europe, and he's gonna be like, "Hey, do you want to come back to Europe with me?" It's just like, how could you? I'm a Kansas City fan, not a European FC fan. I couldn't possibly leave this town. And he's going to be driving to the airport, and then he's going to see a shirtless Kansas City fan going, "Go Chiefs!" With like C here and then F here, just like across his chest, like just covering the nipples, but also not covering the nipple. He's going to be like, this town really is beautiful, and the Chiefs magic, I can't find this anywhere else, and I'm in love with someone, and this Chiefs magic reminds me of the magic of our love because she is so intrinsically connected to the Chiefs by her magic hat. I must return. At that point, they're going to cut to the game. The team's going to be losing by a touchdown. She's going to be like, "Oh man, our team is doing badly. If only that person I fell in love with was here." And then he's going to show up, and then the Chiefs are going to score that touchdown against the Eagles, who are there playing, and then go for a 2-point conversion, make it, and as they make it, clock runs down to 0, and they smooch once again, proving that true love is real, and the fate of the Chiefs really is dictated by a magic hat. That's my prediction for the rest of the movie, and I have never gotten a prediction wrong.
You won.
The family won! That happened fairly early in the movie. I would have thought that's what this whole thing was building up to. But even the dad is surprised they beat out the cat, and rightfully so. That cat was awesome, but did belong to a player, so did deserve to be disqualified. This might have just been a 2-person race between the house and the hat.
Something's wrong. What's going on?
The hat is missing.
Okay, so I might have been incorrect about the problem I said earlier about him leaving town. Turns out the actual problem is the hat is missing, which, quite frankly, kind of a problem.
We're not concerned in the least.
The hat is meant to turn up. It'll turn up.
This family is so nice. She loses the hat and everyone's like, "Hey, that sucks, but we'll be okay. We still have each other." The hat has been lost before, and the Chiefs might have won during that time. I don't know if they did or not. Like I said, they were not good for the longest time. I mean, if you can believe in the magic of the hat, it's not that big of a leap to believe in the magic that the hat will come back. And that reaction, in that context, makes perfect sense. Mr. Community Director still might have to go back to Europe, but that's seeming less and less likely.
I thought I was finally where I was meant to be. I guess I was wrong.
Oh, we did still get a breakup angle. Just in reverse of what I thought was going to happen. It's a tried and tested formula that works every time, that before the ending, the couple has to have a misunderstanding and sort of split up, only to come together in the big moment at the end. It works 100% of the time. Once again, I really don't know why Hallmark keeps making new movies, since they're all exactly the same, with slightly different people, and a slightly different topic applied to this. Because this movie could have very much been about a bakery, could have been about a deli, could have been about a dog show, a talk show, a dance competition, a mail review.
Thank you.
This Santa's making bank. No wonder he's following these two around. Every time he sees them, he gets paid. Probably easier than going to random corners. Just go to the one corner that you know works.
Kansas City Chiefs Fans of the Year.
We finally reached a point where the family's accepting Fan of the Year award in front of the entire stadium, and the CGI here is very, very rough. Made worse because I think they filmed some of it actually at the stadium, but all the close-ups where they're talking, not happening at the stadium. And it's very clear it's not happening at the stadium.
I don't actually have the hat anymore.
Alana comes clean about losing the hat, and the crowd seems not super duper happy about it, but the person who seems the least happy about it is Mecole Hardman, because his face when they cut to him is not happy at all. That's a person who believes in the magic of the hat, because he knows that this game they're about to play, they're not gonna win, because the hat is gone, and that's what kept them winning. If it isn't there, they're not making the Super Bowl. He's just gonna rest up and be ready for the next season.
Chiefs Kingdom, please look under your seats.
Derek sets it up so everyone in the stadium gets their own hat, but Mecole Hardman still isn't having it. The other two, they're like, "Ah, yeah, everyone gets a hat. This is great. This is a wonderful, touching moment." And he's like, no, it's not the same. It's not the same hat. These are different hats. These are different people wearing different hats. You blew this for us. I thought I was going to get another ring. It's not happening now. Magic doesn't work like this. And if the family's allowed to have their own superstitions, so is he. Probably more so because he's the one actually playing the game.
I believe you dropped this.
And at the end of the movie, they get the hat back because the Santa that's been following them all along was the real Santa Claus, which they make clear in no uncertain times by having a flashback to the first time that Grandpa received the hat. And apparently Santa just so happens to be a Chiefs fan.
Go Chiefs.
Or he's just a fan of the team of the person who gives them the most amount of money. And that year it just so happened to be a Chiefs fan. And that's the end of the movie. And at 82 minutes, perfect length for a movie. It's not just an ad for the Kansas City Chiefs either, it's a genuinely good movie. Better than a lot of movies. I know Hallmark kind of gets flack for just putting out Christmas movies, and I did give them flack earlier for putting out Christmas movies that are the exact same every time. But it's a formula that works, and it's a formula that makes money. They're raking in bank with these things. Now sure, this probably came about because Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift started dating, but this movie has nothing to do with that. It's not like she's dating a football player. She is dating someone associated with the team, and she's not a musician or anything either. She's just a normal person. He's just a normal person who happens to work for the team. Sports teams don't need ads. Sports teams are very famous. Unless you're like the Utah hockey team, people know who you are. The only reason that they wouldn't be going to games is if you're doing poorly, and the Chiefs are doing the opposite of poorly right now. Going to 3 Super Bowls in 4 years. So overall, if you like Hallmark movies, you'll like this movie. And if you like football, there is absolutely no football being played here. There's about 2 minutes of a Kansas City Chiefs game thrown in there, but you're watching it on a TV that's kind of poorly CGI'd in, just like all the other CGI in this movie. But even the bad CGI is kind of endearing. So would I recommend that you go out and watch a holiday touchdown immediately? Yes. Do it now. Right now.